Rock and roll, man. Hello and welcome to a talk all about how to sell books regularly on social media. My name is Lee Hall, and I'm an indie author from the UK. Quite recently, I was asked by a fellow author how I sell books regularly on social media. And following on from my most recent guides, I thought I'd provide a little more detail into my day-to-day activity on social media that helps me sell books. Now, like all of my guides, this stuff comes from experience. So I'm going to lay out how I sell books regularly on social media with a hope it helps you, a fellow author. First of all, like many of you, I'm an indie author, and this for the most part is a hobby that I take seriously. In a good month, I will sell a book every few days, which totals to normally around 14 or a little more. Any more than that, and I class that as an awesome month. Every so often, I will advertise my books via book promo sites. That's kind of every few months, but on the day to day and most months, my sales are driven just by social media. So let us dive in to how I sell books regularly on social media and the factors that go into selling regularly. Being present on social media. At number one, and probably above everything else, you have to show up. To sell books online, you have to be online. So presence is the top priority here. Showing up every day, not for hours upon hours, because let's face it, we're normally busy writing or working our day job or doing chores or doing something else that keeps us away. But being online every day is a huge reason why I sell books online. In a regular day, I'll show up in the morning and throughout that day, and I'll start probably with wishing my followers a nice day and kind of take it from there. And that's a great way to kick things off. This leads to being positive on social media. Positivity is a huge magnet for lots of things online, from engagement to finding new followers to driving visibility to you and then hopefully your books. Now, I'm not talking about stapling a smile to your face, but even a simple well-wishing tweet or simple post with a little positivity will go a long way. People remember good interactions online and they are fostered by positivity. And it all starts with being positive. Now, what has any of this got to do with selling books? Well, good question. But I will stress this now. When it comes to selling anything online, and from experience, earning trust and making yourself visible are the key to this. Showing up and being positive are two of the easiest routes to earning trust and finding visibility, while also making friends and having plenty of other cool things come your way. Conversation. Conversation is the next big factor here, and it doesn't always have to be about your books. Constantly talking about your books and trying to constantly think of ways to talk about them and constantly trying to sell them in every post you make online is both draining for you and those who share that social media space with you. Remember, it's social first and media second. Conversations, even of the simplest type, attract visibility, and conversations in the replies attract even more visibility and potentially a lot more followers who like to reply, thus resulting in more conversation and visibility. This is just a brief overview, but being present, positive, and conversational online in any social media space will give any author a huge chance to eventually find sales for their books. And it's also worth giving an honourable mention to tone here. Everything I put out online has a certain neutral tone. You won't find many argumentative posts from me, or even anything that stirs a passionate opinion or something divisive. And that word opinion, forget about it, because my seat is comfortably on the fence when it comes to posting online. But saying that, it's okay to have an opinion on anything. Just be conscious of how you share it. Now, for the skeptics in the room, thinking, conversation, how's that really going to help me? How's that going to help me sell books? I implore you to give it a try. Now, this might be a far cry from what you usually post online. You might post stuff that's kind of content orientated all the time. Just try something simple, like a simple question, like a simple well-wishing tweet, and gradually build it from there every day, and you will notice a difference. If anything, you'll notice a difference in your engagement level and your visibility, and your follow count might start going up, and you might even grab a sale just from being positive and conversational online. So with all that in mind, we now need to look into the practical things you can do in tandem with being present, being positive, conversational, and checking your tone. All of that will attract visibility. So now it's time to capitalize on that by making it easy for potential readers and book buyers to find your work. A lot of this stuff isn't rocket science, but it's there as a general reminder that all these little things do lead to one big thing, which is hopefully a sale. And there are a plethora of inputs here, but for me, I make sure my Amazon product page is just a click or two away. My universal book links are in my profile space or the pinned post at the top of my feed if applicable. This drives sales if you do enough to make yourself visible online. Over time, and it will take time, people will be interested in your work if they have a good interaction with you, or they see a good interaction happening around you. Now, for me specifically, I currently have 8 books published that range in genre or series or standalone. There is choice on my shelf, which is also framed by some fantastic book covers, which is just another huge factor as to why I sell books regularly online. It's totally visual, and for those with just one book available, you are playing this game on hard mode, trust me, and I've been there. But keep going, because even with one book, this stuff works. Back when it was just my first book available, it was difficult, really difficult, and I knew as a reader that having more choice of books in an author's bibliography gives them a higher chance of selling. So 8 months later, and I planned this before publishing my first book, I have released my second. And then in just under 7 years, I've released 8 books. Now I planned this in advance because regular releases over time are an author's best friend. And time is your real friend here because good things take time, and it is never too late for a book to find success. Social media follow counts and even review counts are great, but above that, being compelling on social media will do a lot more work to help sell those books of yours. In the ever-changing world of platforms changing ownership, and then that ownership making really weird decisions, I'd highly recommend having a presence on a few different places online and posting different things across them, but the approach stays the same. Presence, positivity, conversation, tone, followed by making it easy for potential readers to find your work over time is all you need. Plus, a few more book releases over that time should help, and to me, writing those books is the fun part, because marketing is hard, but not impossible to master. I'd like to just take this opportunity to thank you for your support. It really does mean a lot. Thank you for listening. Peace out. Rock and roll, man.